Can you be Jewish and racist at the same time?
No, it's impossible. Ask Kyrie Irving.
Welcome, Gen Nation, everybody, to the Oversell podcast. We have a special guest here tonight. We have the captain himself joining us for our recap of War Games. As always, I'm your man, Zuplexcity. My man, One Shot's here. We are ready to go. We're going to run this down match by match, the whole event from last night, and give you guys our thoughts and predictions and everything on what's going on in the WWE right now. So War Games, fellas. It was a fantastic event. One of my favorites from NXT. Back in the day, WCW used to do War Games. Crazy concept match. The last 5 years, NXT has been doing War Games, and every War Games match has been an absolute, banger of an event. So they brought it up to the main roster now. We're here doing it for Survivor Series. Did you guys think that missing out on the traditional Survivor Series match was a miss? Or do you think changing it with War Games was the right move?
Go ahead, John.
First off, thanks for having me, guys. Great to join you.
Oh, absolutely.
I listened to this podcast. So far, I've listened to everyone on my way to work that you guys have put out. Great job. Great content by the both of you guys. So great job there. Number two, so can I go with both? I missed the traditional Survivor Series layout, but I like this one, right? So it almost felt like it should be its own pay-per-view, War Games, and we should have our own Survivor Series. So I sort of was like, I was really torn. You felt they tried to bring in the element of, I guess, Raw versus SmackDown, but it was, or championship matches. I don't know. It was definitely not what I'm used to seeing, where Raw invades SmackDown, SmackDown invades Raw, and you get that
lead up to it.
Yeah. So now we got something different. It was unique, man. It was unique.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat where I missed the traditional Survivor Series match, but the War Games matches were so bombastic that you really had to love them. I think next year they split them. They got to give us a Survivor Series and a War Games pay-per-view and just leave it like that. Because like you said, the lead up to Survivor Series is some of the best Raws and SmackDowns that we get. When you have the Raw versus SmackDown Survivor Series matches, who's invading who. We got the man Becky Lynch from her Survivor Series. That's where that was born. Now that image of her getting busted up by Nia Jax, standing in the crowd with her hand raised all bloody and everything like that. That's what created the man. So we're missing out on those moments, but I agree. This War Games matchup was absolutely phenomenal. What about you, Steve?
I agree with both of you.
Yeah.
Not much really else to say to it. The War Games is, you introduced to me, a month ago?
Yeah.
And I've liked it since. So, I agree with both of you.
Yeah, I'll tell anybody out there listening, too, if you haven't seen... If this was your first introduction to War Games, that's great. That's awesome, because I think this was a good introduction for people. But if you haven't seen the NXT War Games takeovers, go back and watch them. They're on Peacock. You can watch them whenever. You're going to see some of the craziest, most fun matches you've ever seen. Me and Steve watched one together, and he was blown away by it. So, all right, let's jump into the first match of the night. Match number one, the opener, was the women's War Games match. And for them to open, traditionally in the last 5 years with the takeovers, they open with either the women's or the men's, and then they close with either the women's or the men's. A lot of it has to do with cleaning up the ring in between. It takes so much time to do. I don't think they could do two back-to-back War Games matches. So We started this one off with Bianca versus Dakota Kai. The teams were Bianca, Alexa, Asuka, Mia Yim, and the man Becky Lynch, who returned their SmackDown prior. And then they were facing Damage Control of Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Nikki Cross. The Damage Control team had the advantage. It started with Bianca and Dakota Kai, and I thought the start was great. I thought Bianca looked strong. She looked great in the start with her and Dakota. I felt like this was a real time for Dakota to shine, being one-on-one with Bianca, and I don't think she really pulled it off well enough. What do you think, John?
Not only did she not pull it off, it was a blaring issue that either they wanted to make Bianca look so good, right? Which she looked amazing. Either they wanted her to look so good or they wanted to give Dakota a chance. And to me, when it was done, we were talking throughout this, right? So we were Zoop, you and I were kind of going back and forth a little bit, just little opinions. Man, it left me hungry for somebody dominant, because the Bianca looks so incredible, and I'm like, dude, these other women are so outmatched right now. And even in a War Games match, right, when the second wrestler came in, who was the second one that came in?
Second one on that side was Io Sky.
Io Sky. It was even worse. It was a debacle.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I mean, this couldn't go any worse from a creative standpoint on that end, and any better for pushing Bianca and her greatness anymore. Yeah. Right?
I agree with that. I think there's definitely a level here, right? Where you have Bianca, Alexa, Asuka, and even Rhea Ripley, like they're on a different level than the rest of the girls that were in this match. And it was obvious. Like, it was obvious.
Painful.
Like, Io and Dakota had about 3 or 4 botches in this match.
Yep.
I put Bayley into that upper level also.
Awesome.
But yeah, so Io comes in, and it was just kind of like Bianca was carrying them basically through the match. Like, they were all over the place. Like, it was very odd. And considering they're two of the only ones that were in this match that have been in a War Games match before. Like, they made it painfully obvious to it. Michael Cole was repeating it 19 times that Dakota Kai and Io Sky have been in 5 this is their 5th War Games match.
Yep.
Damn.
Right? So, like, how are you coming to the main stage and that's what you're giving us? It just felt like a miss for me. I don't know.
I agree.
And then Asuka comes in for the Bianca team, and she had a great what are we calling it? A hot entrance instead of a hot tag?
Yeah.
Right? That makes sense, right? The hot entrance.
Yep.
Yeah. So Asuka has a hot entrance, comes in, just decimates everybody with that Japanese strong style that she uses. She looks fantastic. And I don't know if Dakota and Io can keep up. It's surprising me that Io can't keep up, considering they used to be tag team partners in Japan.
Did you not feel that Asuka made the entrance and it was super powerful.
Yeah.
Right? Strong style. She's doing her thing. And I felt as the match went on, she faded further and further away from that top tier. She lost me as the match went on. She came in. I'm like, man, Asuka's looking very good. And listen, let's be serious. The WWE in the beginning really pushed Asuka as one of the main women, right? And she had her matches with Becky and Sasha Banks and Charlotte. And like, it just felt to me, we got that Asuka, and then she became Dakota. Like I didn't, there was nothing that separated for me. I didn't feel it. The person I felt the energy from, other than obviously, you know, Rhea when she came in, you know, and Bianca carrying it through. Like Bayley, when she came out of the gate, that whatever it is, and she walked to the ring, she had this moxie about her. You know, she goes in the ring and she's throwing ladders in, right? Which, by the way, there was more things unused in the women's match than I've ever seen before in my life. I mean, my stepdad's sitting here with me. He never watches wrestling, right? And he looks at Rhea Ripley. He's like, first of all, that is the largest woman I've ever seen. Second of all, he's like, they're really they're going to use all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you got to stick around. And they used the one ladder, right? And then that was really, they used a lot of trash can lids, but kendo sticks.
Like 75 kendo sticks in there. No one swung one.
Yeah. I was like, except for when they all climbed up to the cage.
It's decoration.
Like Bianca was going to power slam all of them, you know.
Yeah.
And none of that happened. And
I think that was an audible. I think that was an audible. I think they realized they were unsteady and they called it off.
Yeah, there was something going on. But Bayley, to me, just like her moxie, something about her felt to me like, you know, she had it. I definitely enjoyed I love her new gimmick, man. Her new heel turn manager.
Heel turn's the right move.
Man, because, you know, listen, she, at first it felt a little forced, but now she's like through and through like a villain, you know?
Yeah, she's leaned into it.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching her in the match, but like I said, I thought that it was so, the women's roster in general, I don't know what it is, but it feels weaker than it ever has to me. And I don't know if it's because we're missing Charlotte, which is I mean, come on. You know, not having like even though Ronda Rousey sucks, having her in there adds something. I don't know what it is, like, you know, whatever.
We'll get to Ronda when we get to her match.
No, I know, and Shayna Baszler and whatever, but you know, there's still dominant figures. And we got Dakota, and we got, you know, like it felt like it was two factions against each other, like the men's match, right? And it wasn't.
Well, it feels like to me the newer girls aren't stepping up to the plate.
Agreed. Yeah, that's a good way of saying it.
You got Bianca, like, top of the heap. She looks great. Like, Rhea looks great. Asuka looks great. Alexa looks great. Bayley looks great. And then the rest of these girls come in and they're just not. Yeah. They're not pulling to the same level as the rest of these girls. So you see like a big shift. Like, it's not working together, right? If you had replaced like Io and Dakota and Nikki Cross with like Sasha, Charlotte, and like even Shotzi Blackheart, because Shotzi's actually really good in the ring, and I feel like she's on that level. And we'll get to her later on too. Mia Yim's kind of like, I was disappointed with her, this being her like debut return with the whole, like, she's part of the OC, they're facing the Judgment Day. Yep. She's supposed to go after Rhea the whole time. Like, the spot through the ladder was fucking amazing.
Yes.
But like, I wanted her to come in and be the game changer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? On her entrance. Like, her entrance, she like just kind of came in and just did a couple of moves or whatever. She should have grabbed one of those kendo sticks and just cleared house, because they were building her up to be that person who's going to clear house. Yeah. Like, she's supposed to be the person going up against Rhea.
She's the great equalizer, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think they conveyed that to us, you know, because she didn't really do much. And then you get Becky coming in at the end. Becky's going to do what Becky does. Like, she was outstanding. She didn't falter at all. What you were saying before about Asuka, I think with the War Games match, it's so hard to focus on specific people that she kind of got buried a little bit, because if you watch in the background, like she did a German suplex off the top ropes that wasn't even shown on TV. Like it's in the background as everybody else is doing like suplexes and stuff. Like I just don't think she was featured as much until you got to the Poison Mist. Right?
Yeah.
The Poison Mist to me was awesome.
No, it was good. I mean, listen, I just, what I took away from it was this. Women's division sucked. The women's revolution came from NXT, and we got probably the most incredible crop of women wrestlers we're ever going to get at one time for the rest of our lives. And we are measuring everybody to them. And those women, you know, the new girls that are up, like, let's call them for what they are. They're NXT wrestlers. That's what we got here. And they are great in NXT because they have great gimmicks and the crowds are great and creative's great, and it allows them to be that. They come up to the main roster, and unless you have a revolution going on and you have the big dogs there to face you, you're a nobody now. And these women have just, I don't even know if it's underwhelmed us as much as we're never going to get what we got. And
yeah, no.
And that's it. Like you're, you know, Becky came in the ring, and it's as clear as day, dude. She walks in the ring, everyone's standing up. She's up by herself. She beats everybody up. She said about 13 times, "Come on, bitch, stand up, bitch, stand up, bitch." And she's yelling at Bayley. I mean, you're looking at her and you're like, this is such a badass fucking chick. And Bayley's a badass chick. And Rhea Ripley's a badass chick. And Bianca's a badass chick. And everyone else could go the fuck home. We'll just watch 2-on-2, sit on top of the ring. And even what's her name, who came in and Cross.
Nikki Cross, yeah.
I mean, she's supposed to be this psychotic.
She had a good high spot.
She had a good
high spot.
Yeah, and then after that, it was like, okay. It just felt to me like, all right, you're either the big dog or you're a little pup eating out of a little pup bowl. Like that's just what it is, and everyone's got to stay the fuck aside.
Yeah, I think they missed a mark on pushing the newer talent a little bit in this match, but I don't think that they were able to step up to the challenge.
Yeah,
honestly, like after watching the botches that happened, and I gotta hit Bianca for a botch too, because she almost broke Bayley's neck with that powerbomb.
I saw it. Yeah.
It looked like it was more Bayley's fault than anything.
It was.
But those things happen. Like, you know, not everybody's perfect 100% of the time. But like watching the beginning of this match, Dakota and Io, like they botched like 8 things in a row. It was wild. It was like I was like, they can't even get the flow of the match going because these two chicks are screwing up left and right. So I don't know. The whole thing, it ended strong, I think, with them going through the ladder, and then you know, the manhandle slam and the KOD and all that stuff. I think it was a strong ending. Becky Lynch and Bianca, they pull out the win. Solid opener, I think, to a War Games match, you know, to the War Games event. I thought it was a good opener at least. And now we delve into the 4 matches that no one gives an absolute shit about for this event.
Can't wait.
Match number 2, we get Finn Balor of the Judgment Day versus AJ Styles of the OC for the 100 millionth time that these guys have fought each other. Like, I don't know. See, this is where I think they screwed up a little bit. I think they could have given us a traditional Survivor Series match in this spot. You have the OC, you have the Judgment Day. Let them bring in 2 more guys, whoever, and do a Survivor Series match.
Yeah.
You know, do a smaller Survivor Series match. Instead, we got AJ versus Finn. Like, it was a good match. Like, but those guys are always going to put on a good match. Right?
Yep.
Like, easy. is it worth us seeing again on a pay-per-view? Is the question.
Listen, nothing from that match was fun. There was not anything remotely close to entertaining. Actually, when everyone was fighting and somehow they disappeared completely into the stands, we were better off for it. And if they would have shut that down without watching that again, it would have been even fine. There was nothing about it. If I don't get the demon, I don't even want to watch this fucking guy. And I'm so tired of the old game. It felt like I was watching DX now.
Yeah.
Trying to reenact 30 years ago. It's
that's what they're trying to do, though. They're trying to reenact this Bullet Club shit from Japan.
But it's over for me, bro. I can't. They're not young enough to do the crazy shit when they had it, when they were the club. And how many times, bro? Like, dude. Listen, first of all, two of the greats. Finn Balor, AJ Styles, legends. No doubt.
Yeah.
No one's arguing.
Absolutely. Got to give them their props. You know.
All of this was forced to me, right?
Yeah.
The OC,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't a bad match as far as, like,
it's just forced.
You know, the match itself. It's just, there's no reason for it.
No reason.
Like, why are we still doing, this Bullet Club, New Japan rivalry? Like, it's been 20 years now. Like, we got to move on at some point. It's just,
dude, there's,
it was good at first, but it's just like,
there's so much more creative they can do, bro. We know that. Come on. There's so much more creative we can do. There's so many things. First of all, the fact that they took the faction away from Edge, to me, was ridiculous. Because, if you want a guy who can lead a group, Edge will never be the true rated R superstar standalone ever again. No one will believe in it. Finn Balor can, bro. So the fact is why don't you do us a favor? The first Universal Champion was Finn Balor, the Demon. Why don't you put some fucking face paint on this guy and let him go for a title run instead of making him some dumb lackey, a part of a group we don't even care to see him a part of anymore. And let's just watch him go for a title run and put him up against Seth Rollins, because that match was fucking epic, bro. Why don't you put him where we want to see him? Why don't you put him against Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, again? Why don't you put him, because you know what? He can't go against Brock Lesnar. But Brock Lesnar's not here anymore. So he can go against Roman Reigns. He can go against these guys. I don't understand. You can have him do anything. No, you don't. You have him come out with a stupid face mask that it looked like...
Made no sense.
Bro, what was that? Okay?
I was watching Squid Games.
That's bro, what was that? And if Dominic Mysterio can look any more of a pussy than he does next to his side, I literally... My stepdad was like, who's this toolbox next to him? He didn't even know him. It just looks like a toolbox. Bro.
It's so funny because like me and Steve ran him down on the last pay-per-view for the same thing. It's just like, this kid is not it, and they keep pushing him on us. Every time he's in the ring, he looks terrible. Just terrible.
Bro.
It's ridiculous, bro. This whole Judgment Day, like, I think if you pushed Judgment Day in a feud with the Bloodline, it's a stronger storyline.
Yes.
Even if it's a short feud, it's a stronger storyline because you have a built-in faction then that can go up against, the Bloodline. Maybe you got to add one more guy into the Judgment Day, but they could add in like Karrion Kross. Like, you're telling me Karrion Kross doesn't fit into the Judgment Day?
Absolutely.
Like, add him in, right? Have them go up against the Bloodline. And have the Bloodline have to try and find a female to handle Rhea Ripley, or Rhea goes up against Sami Zayn.
Perfect.
And you run it that way. There's so much more they could do with this Judgment Day thing.
I agree.
And having it tied up with the OC, Like, no one wanted to see Gallows and Anderson back.
Oh,
like,
God,
like
they're all.
I mean, I love them. Like, they're OGs. They're great and this and the other thing. But hang it up already, bro. Like,
they're not. I don't even consider them OGs, bro. I really don't. They've been around the business. They've been the indie. They've been the Japanese scene. I know they've been around a long time, but sometimes being around a long time doesn't make you an OG. It just means you're around. An OG are the ones who made big names. The OC would never have been recognized if they weren't part of a stable with AJ Styles in it. They would never have been recognized if it wasn't in a stable with Finn Balor in it. These guys on their own have never stood on their own 2 feet. They're not an OG to me. And that's why when we see the New Age Outlaws, they're fucking OGs because they were great on their own. They were great in a group, and they were great in singles. And
very true.
And that's why, to me, it's, you know, the Rock and Roll Express or Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels. These guys, you know, there's groups, there's factions, whatever you want to call them. And I just, you know, I'm just so out on it, bro. I don't want to see it no more. It was, you said it well. The matches that no one gave a shit about. You said it well.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head.
I mean, for what it's worth, AJ wins this match. I don't know what that means going forward. Like, it just means that we're probably going to get a tag match on Monday night with Gallows and Anderson versus Damian Priest and Mysterio. Other than that, like, I don't know what else it means. Yeah, exactly. Like, whoever won this match, it wasn't going to mean anything because the whole rivalry is pointless in the first place. So, moving on.
Please.
Match number 3. And this one, women's title, SmackDown women's title.
Oh, God.
Ronda versus Shotzi. Like, I just get rid of Ronda at this point.
Please.
Like, I don't want to see her anymore. Everyone she works with, there's botches in every match, and they're not the other wrestler. It's Ronda's fault. There's a big botch in this, and it was because Ronda doesn't know how to wrestle still. Like, she refuses to learn, and all she's doing is just trying to bring her judo and MMA background into the ring and adapt it for that and be this badass chick, and she just comes off as just weak for it all, you know? Like, Shotzi, I thought, did amazing in this match, but I felt like she was carrying Ronda the whole time. Like, you could definitely tell that Shotzi, with her experience, is a more well-rounded wrestler and able to, like, actually pull things off in the match, whereas Ronda is just doing Ronda.
Ronda, if you want the epitome of somebody who has no fucking clue what they do at their job and what their job description is and how to do their fucking job, Ronda Rousey's that bitch.
It's wild, man.
I have never in my life seen somebody so inadequate at what they do. I've never seen someone look dumber at what they do. The face looks, how is it that Brock Lesnar, who does essentially nothing but the same thing over and over again, can make it look so dominating, right? Why is it that Ronda Rousey has not learned how to throw a fake punch yet and pull it back without letting people know that you suck at doing it? Why is it that every time you lift somebody up in the air, it genuinely looks like you're going to hurt the person you're working with?
Yeah.
And number 3, why is it that every time you're supposed to be dominating a match, we already look at you and say, you suck at what you do? The shit talking in the middle of the match, please stop. Just stop talking.
Oh, stop, bro.
I can't take one more second. I literally, and they have to give her the title because they're stuck paying her this money and this contract that they're in. They have to give her the title because if they don't, it's not like a Brock Lesnar where when he comes in, it's a wow factor. You don't get the wow factor. You get the great. Fuck. Ronda Rousey's here. She has the title. Is this over yet, guys?
When she first dropped, her name brought in ticket sales. Made sense, right? Of course. Like, you're debuting Ronda Rousey. She's now with the WWE. Her name's going to bring in ticket sales. Does her name bring in ticket sales anymore with the content that she's giving us? I don't think so. There was no one that was excited about that match. That audience. Like, everybody was just waiting. Like, just get this match over with. Let's just go. And, like, I understand, like, Shotzi's not a big name, but she's a professional, and she's good at what she does. Like, I've seen her in NXT, like I've seen her on WWE, on the main roster and stuff like that. She's good, right? But when your dance partner has got 2 left feet, there's only so much you can fucking do, and that's what happens with Ronda. The whole Shayna Baszler being there and them forming this weird and Shayna's a crazy story because like Shayna adapted to wrestling way better than Ronda did.
Way better.
You know, way better than Ronda did. And Ronda's still just like, I'm going to do what I do and blah, 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 blah. I did like the little crowd spot that they had where they all went into the crowd and took out the entire front row.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a nice little spot in a match that pretty much sucked overall.
I mean, is Shayna Baszler supposed to be like her student, her pupil? I don't understand. What is Ronda teaching her other than how to not speak on the mic, not work with your opponent very well, not have a good storyline, and not have a good gimmick? What does she teach? Shayna Baszler to me looks like someone who will come in and beat your ass. And she's not gonna say very, very much. She's gonna talk as much as she needs to. She works very well. And she's not gonna leave the ring and you're not gonna say she just sucks. You're never going to say that with her. But Ronda, upon entrance, I want her to just walk backwards back into the backstage.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It really is that they keep pushing her.
Terrible.
You know, I mean, I don't know what it means that Ronda won this match. I don't think it means anything. Like, nothing. I don't know where this goes. I mean, the only thing that I can see happening is when Charlotte returns, she goes up against Ronda and takes the strap off her.
Has to.
Like that's the only thing at this point that we can do with this, because you got a strong Raw champion, right? You got Bianca. You know, let her be that strong Raw champion. She got enough. She got Becky over there. You got Bayley over there. You got enough like opponents for her. SmackDown, like you got Ronda, and without Charlotte, it's just pointless at this point. So that was match number 3. Match number 4, this was a little bit more of a surprise, I think. Also, not something that I think anybody really wanted to see. I think this was a big miss.
Mm-hmm.
But the ending makes sense. I think this is a good push for somebody. Why I think it is a miss. So this was a triple threat match. Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory, Seth Rollins. My problem with this is there's no reason for Bobby Lashley to be there whatsoever.
0.
Like, that's where I think this is a miss, is because if you had a banger match between Theory and Rollins, and I know Steve hates Austin Theory.
With a passion.
I'm with you.
But I do like the turn that they gave him. Taking away the cell phone, no more selfies, kind of got a little bit of an edge to him. I said it to you last night. He reminds me of ruthless aggression John Cena, right? Before he became rap star John Cena, there was that period where he was wearing the short shorts and he was smacking Kurt Angle and he was just like ruthless aggression. Like that version of John Cena that admittedly didn't go over well until he started the rap thing, right? But he reminds me a little bit of that version of John Cena. Where he's just young, a little on the smaller side because Cena wasn't, yet. We
don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that, but
we don't talk about Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno. So this match, Theory's new direction is great. Who's better than Seth Rollins at this point, man?
Nobody.
Like, the guy knows how to work a crowd better than anybody. anybody.
Bro,
And again,
I'm trying my best right now. I'm trying my best. You ready for this, Steve?
I'm ready. I'm listening.
Zuplex and I are talking back and forth, whatever. You know, we're talking about wrestlers, comparing our thoughts on generational talent and thoughts on potential champions. I'm sure Zuplex will lead us into that at some point.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Rollins' greatness, and we're talking about, you know, and Zuplex said it last night, how unnecessary Lashley was.
Yeah, completely unnecessary.
I say in the beginning of this match, they have to have Theory win this belt tonight. Unfortunately, if you want this guy's character to grow, he needs to beat a Seth Rollins, right? Now, obviously, Zuplex, King Zuplex, had to argue with me as he always does, not knowing that he can't see me. And he goes, not necessarily. He can get over in a loss, just not with Lashley there, which is fair. But
Yeah, I didn't say anything wrong, though.
But no, you didn't say anything wrong. But about 6 minutes later, I started to say over and over again, I told you, because Theory won the match. And I wrote in capital letters, I write this shit. Now here was the problem. Triple H taking over creative, I think, I heard you say it, I think on your first wrestling podcast, that it was probably the best thing that's happened at WWE in a long time.
By far.
You guys
Facts.
both said it. You like the creative, you know what I mean? So I listened to you guys on the way to work, you said that. The last memory everybody has of Vince McMahon is pushing Theory in the ring. That was his last wrestling storyline. There is no way possible, after the fucking Money in the Bank debacle that happened, the briefcase debacle, the character debacle, the Vince McMahon debacle, Triple H was not going to do something to give Theory a chance and say, oh, you see, Vince did have an eye for talent. He knew what he was doing. This was Vince's guy, and he had it in him the whole time. Even if Triple H looks at him and says, come on, bro. Could he beat Lashley? No. Could he beat Seth Rollins? No fucking way. Right? Like, we know that. But if there's one way to give him a push, make him a supervillain, because Rollins is very over, right? I mean, the whole match, all we heard was, oh, the whole match, right? And Lashley's throwing people around. So it's, you know what it really is? It's the, Lashley gives the Lesnar effect. He's the big ogre that probably is stronger than everybody else. And when he's in there,
he's also half as entertaining as Lesnar.
No, he's a tenth as entertaining. But, and by the way, I'm the world's largest Lesnar hater. So for me to say that says a lot. And Theory, you're just like, you repackage him as the ruthless aggression guy, like you said. It makes sense.
It's a little close to it. Not exact.
Yeah, you repackage him as that, and you beat the guy that will probably honestly end up winning the titles later on. And the U.S. title is a very finicky title, and you did say that. That Cena got a ton of guys over without losing the U.S. title, and you said it was what the U.S. title was for, right? So the U.S.
title is to build talent. It's always been.
And I think it's one of those things that you can build talent either way, with a loss or with a win, but you have to do it the right way. And look how many times WWE missed with Roman Reigns losing a title or winning a title, right? Like, you can kill somebody or make somebody great. You can miss completely, but I think in this particular time, even if they missed, it was the only way you can have Theory in this match, because Theory's not in a class with either of these two bozos. And
considering it was a triple threat, I agree with you. In a one-on-one match with Rollins, he can get over in a loss.
He's nowhere in the same class. Neither of them are.
But Rollins can make him look good. The same way John did with countless wrestlers. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Rollins, if it was a one-on-one match, Rollins can make this kid look so good that he gets over.
Dude, Rollins is the GOAT. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, bro, but it's painfully obvious, and I said it last night. This is the closest we're gonna get to Shawn Michaels. Period. The kid has the flash. He's got the moxie. He can beat you from the top rope. He can beat you on the mat. He's got a way of stealing everybody's moves, and you feel like they're his. Like he does a pedigree, and you're like, fuck, man, you do it so good. Like and you want to say like, oh, of course you're gonna steal, but every time he does it, it's great. He does a sweet.
No, but at this point, it's part of his character.
Everything, but everything is. It's like he soaks it up and he makes it. It's what we should have gotten with Dolph Ziggler.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
We should have gotten with Dolph Ziggler.
Ziggler 10 years ago, I would say was the closest thing we were going to get to Shawn Michaels.
100%.
He could have been that guy if they had just pushed him the right way.
Nah.
Because like, look, I know, you know, going back to we always talk about the biggest guy in the room and something like that. Shawn Michaels was never the biggest guy in the room, but he presented himself that way.
Oh, his persona was larger than life.
You know. So, like, he was always a threat no matter what. Like, he wasn't the size of The Undertaker. But when he fights The Undertaker at WrestleMania, you're like, yo, Shawn Michaels could beat The Undertaker. You know, you believe it. You know? I'll push back on you on one thing, though. I think, after thinking about our conversation last night, I think Hunter kind of pushed Theory as a fuck you to Vince. I think what he did was he changed his entire gimmick first, and it was like
the gimmick was trash.
Vince was right; he has talent, but here's the thing: Vince was wrong because he gave him this stupid fucking gimmick that everybody hated. Watch what I do with this kid. I'll show you that I was right all along. That's what I think. I don't know. I might be wrong on that, but
yeah, Triple H. There's nothing to me. There's nothing that says, you know, like Triple H is trying to send a fuck you to Vince McMahon.
Maybe not a fuck you.
Who went out the way he did, very unceremoniously, and was his mentor and sort of handed the business to him and his son. And it just says to me, I just really believe that this was Triple H's way of trying to cement the fact, because listen, the most recent podcast he did, the interview he did with no, he's like an Arab guy, Middle Eastern guy, a young guy, like he does UFC, he does this, he's like really good. He's awesome.
Ariel Helwani.
Yes, he's great, right? And and you know, he paid so much homage to Vince, and he talked about his unique ability to see talent and to do these things and whatever. There's no, I can't see it. I just can't. Like, Triple H is too classy for it. You know, if I could see CM Punk, I could see, and even though Triple H and CM Punk, they were, I could see Triple H saying, you know, this is my project, you know?
Yeah. Is that for years, and this is going back to when, like, even with the DX stuff, Triple H and Vince always butted heads on, because Vince was always stuck in what worked in the 80s will always work.
Sure.
Right? And when the things were, you know, when they were losing to WCW every Monday night, and Triple H and Scott Hall and all those guys would go in and be like, Vince, we need to make a change. And he'd be like, it'll work out. Trust me, we got Hogan. Everything's fine. You know, and like just being Vince, just stuck. Like Vince was always stuck in his ways. And I'll agree. Like he's the GOAT. He's the one that finds all this talent. He's the one that like really, he's got the best eye for talent in the business. But what to do with that talent, I think the world kind of passed Vince by. And I think that's what Triple H is better at, is like seeing the talent that's there and knowing what to do with it now. Whereas Vince was just kind of like stuck in the, oh, he's a giant, it'll work, like spectacle. Everybody wants to see spectacle.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Vince got the short end of the stick because I think people want to see a giant. I just think there's people didn't have to be so good on the mics and they could say cheesy shit back in the day and it worked. And I think what happened was all the giants we got didn't know how to do any mic work. So, you know, Braun Strowman fucking sucked on the mic.
Kevin Nash was pretty good.
But Kevin Nash came up as Big Daddy Cool Diesel, bro. He wasn't Kevin Nash, brother. So remember, he came up.
That was because of Vince.
But that was because of Vince. He came up as Big Daddy Cool, and then they put him with Scott Hall, and then they were the outsiders in WCW, and he didn't talk very much. You know, Scott Hall did a lot of the savvy stuff, and when Kevin Nash came on the mic, he was very like, you know? It just, I don't know.
There's good big men and there's bad big men. There's good giants, there's bad giants, right?
Sure.
For every big show, you get Omos.
Oh, God.
You know? You know what I'm saying? Like Braun Braun, in my opinion, was a guy who sucked on the mic at first and then got way better.
Agreed. Oh yeah.
Like he got way better on the mic. Like he got fantastic on the mic. But then, you know, they just weren't doing anything with him. Like that guy, like he was so over at one point, and for you to not make him the champion was ridiculous.
Nah, they killed him. They killed him. They got him over. He was so over, bro, and they did everything they could to screw this guy. And you know who actually the same thing they did it to? And it was CM Punk and the CM Punk Shield era. Ryback.
Yeah, Ryback was another one.
And Ryback, he came on, he started to have like pretty good takes on the mic, wasn't so bad, started to finally get over, and they would not give this guy the title, bro. Every match was somebody would interrupt. Every cage match with CM Punk, it didn't matter, bro. It didn't matter. It's almost as if they're like, listen, they're the most dominant guy in the ring, so they don't have to have the belt. It's weird, right?
It's weird. It really is.
You're so dominant, you don't have to have the belt.
Yeah, it's an odd choice. I don't get it, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hopefully, with Triple H, everything changes as far as that respect. So, like, let's just get rid of Omos at this point.
How long?
Braun take over that giant role.
How long? I want to know from the two of you. How long does Theory keep this belt?
He loses it the first time he has to defend it.
Okay.
I think he has a rivalry with Seth that goes on for a little while.
I don't even think so.
I think that's the way to push the kid, though. You know what? Maybe he loses it right away, but maybe then he gets it back, and then he becomes the thorn in Seth's side. You know what I mean?
Who was Seth feuding with right before Theory?
No one.
No.
It was Lashley, really. Like, that's why Lashley was in that match. He took the U.S. title off Lashley.
He had that feud with Rhodes. Rhodes got hurt. Then he feuded with somebody else after.
I don't even think it was a feud, dude. To be honest with you. I think he's just doing matches.
I think Theory loses it relatively quickly.
He was feuding with what's his name? The RK Bro dude.
Oh, Riddle.
Yeah, he was feuding with Riddle.
I'm like, I think because Randy Orton had his back fused, I think Riddle takes the belt off of Theory.
Oh, that might be it. That's interesting.
Because you have to have Riddle Riddle and Randy Orton were very good tag champions. Worked very well.
I love Dark Bro, man.
It was a great gimmick, and I think that Riddle deserves a belt, and I think he can pull it off, and I think that the crowd needs to see him. He's got good energy, and I think when they pinned him up against Seth Rollins, they fucking buried him. I think that's what they did. You haven't seen him, and you can't. First of all, Seth Rollins is, bro. You can't have some California dude in a mic game with Seth Rollins. Bro.
No, you can't.
It was way. He's like, bro, and Seth Rollins is like, brother, your wife doesn't even want you. Okay, like, so it was as bad as it got. But I think he's great in the ring, so you can make him a champion. And I don't even think Theory's that great on the mic. So you can have two idiots going at it and one winning.
We gotta see how Theory's new gimmick's gonna play out too. You know, we gotta see how he is on the mic now. Like, now that he's not doing this, like, I'm the golden boy selfie, like that type of shit. Like, now that that's all gone, we gotta see what type of mic skills this kid's really got. He might blow us away. We don't know. We gotta see what he's doing. Look at Steve's face. He's so angry right now.
Steve,
I don't see a redeeming factor in him.
I'm with Steve here. I'm with Steve here on this.
Yeah. All right. So we're going into the main event now. Match number 5, the men's War Games match. Acknowledge him, as John would love to say. The Bloodline versus the Brawling Brutes with Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens. This match was amazing. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a really, really good match. I said to John before the match started, I said I was a little worried about this because I didn't think the Brawling Brutes were the right group of guys to put in a war games type of match. And I mean, some of it was kind of like, Rich Holland was basically useless the entire time. He had no real high spots at all except for his entrance.
I thought it was a mediocre match.
Thought so?
I thought it was mediocre as fuck.
I
mean, now John's never seen a War Games match, correct?
I have seen a War Games match. I've seen a few of them. I've also seen because remember, prior to NXT, this is not the first War Games, right? So
no. But I'm talking about, have you seen anything in the modern era?
No, other than AEW's War Games match or whatever they call it.
Yeah, we're not counting those.
The only thing.
Steve sat down and watched a War Games match that had the War Raiders, who are the Viking Raiders now, with Ricochet and Pete Dunne, who's Butch. They changed him to Butch now.
Yeah.
Versus the Undisputed Era, like Adam Cole and all those guys. And that's one of the premier War Games matches. I'm telling everybody out there, if you haven't seen a War Games match, go watch that one because that'll make you hooked on War Games forever. I'm telling you. Compared to that match, this match was pretty mediocre.
All this match to me was just to further the Bloodline storyline.
Oh
yeah,
that's
because there wasn't real any good high points in the match.
What are you gonna get, Steve? What are you gonna? At some point, okay, you're gonna run. First of all, there's not like 75 factions running all over the place that have the size. Second of all, the size physically and the size by numbers with star power. Second, how much of Roman Reigns individual, how much of Uso individual can you do without having them all in the same ring together fighting with the storyline to build up? War Games was the perfect sort of breather for not having another Roman's title match that you knew he was going to win, right?
Title's on the line.
You're running out of ideas. He just faced one of the Paul brothers. Like, it's over. Yeah. The title run, it must be.
If he loses his title, it's going to be to Kevin Owens.
Nah.
I think it is because how Sammy played, like he was so upset. He was so upset about everything that happened. I think it's going to come down to Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns, and Sammy's going to betray the bloodline, and it's going to go in KO's favor.
He's going to listen.
Before we get into the ending here, hold on. Let's break this match down a little bit. We'll have the time. We're going to get there. Guys. Don't worry. We got to break this match down a little because there's a lot going on. There's a lot that happened. A lot more than I think. And I'll agree with Steve. There wasn't a lot of high spots in this match.
Sure.
There wasn't a lot of like big spots in this match, but this match did a few things at the end that I think push a lot of different storylines across. So first off, it started off with Butch and Jay. Butch looked great. Like this kid is, Pete Dunne, Butch, whatever you want to call him, the joint manipulation, your, English strong style gimmick, I think works really well in a match like this where he's breaking Jay's fingers and all this other stuff. And that kid sold his arm being hurt this entire match. The entire match, he's sitting there like this.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Look, I got to call out something good when I see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being able to sell for that long is a solid. So you show that the guy's got talent. He's professional.
Listen, right? The guy just screams rabid dog. Like he's got no mic skills. It's hard to understand him. He's a European champion. I mean, a European NXT, right? Champion.
Yeah.
And he's just a bruiser. He's always been a bruiser. You get him in the ring, he's got his onesie on, and he just fucking mauls you to death, right? Like, okay, he pulls that off great. He's a wily guy. Every time he's in the ring, he's jumping around, he's pushing people, he's headbutting people, he's hurting himself. You know what the fuck the guy's doing. To me, okay, cool. You're just the rabid dog of the team. There's nothing fun except for seeing you be energetic. And by the way, the perfect guy to have him go head to head is the guy who's also mentally unstable, and Jey Uso. Like,
True.
It made perfect sense to me. They opened the match. They're both like, not so normal. And you're like, okay, this totally makes sense. I liked both of them. You knew who was coming in after. What the fuck's his name? Holland?
Holland, yeah.
Oh, God, bro. It was...
I mean, he had a good entrance.
What was the entrance? He brought in, what did he bring? Garbage cans in? What did he bring in the thing?
I don't know. He came in. He just started, he started doing that back and forth through to the corners and stuff like that. And,
Oh, yeah, running. Bomb. I
mean, listen, yeah. I agree with you. He's not the most exciting guy to watch, but it was a strong, I thought, you saw the power behind him a little bit. He showcased that a little bit, at least. The Brawling Brutes, to me, and I said it to you before the match, I didn't think they were the right guys to be in this match. I would have much rather had seen the New Day in with McIntyre, Owens, and find a fifth than had done the Brawling Brutes. Because I think Sheamus was kind of one that's got to be in here too.
Yeah.
But then we had, after Ridge comes in, then you have Jimmy's about to come out.
Sick.
And Roman pulls him back.
That was a great segment.
Like, no. I want Sammy in there.
Great segment.
Great segment. And it pushed off of the segment right before the match where you saw Roman talking with Sammy, doing the whole, like, are you with us or are you against us? I need to know. I need to look in your eyes. And you weren't sure how this was going to play out. And Roman kind of left him to the dogs a little bit. Jay was beaten up. Sammy goes in. Is there no better professional at this point than Sami Zayn?
Right now, I tell you, I've never been a big Sami Zayn fan.
I know you've called him.
If you watch the press conference after this, I mean, Paul Heyman kind of summed it up pretty well.
What he said, I didn't see the press conference.
Oh, you're gonna have to watch it.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I can tell you. To me, not only has Sami Zayn resurrected his dead career in my mind, because listen, the only feud that mattered was the Sami Zayn KO feud that started in NXT with that bad blood and the injuries that they caused to when KO fucking powerbombed him 13 times on the side of the ring and hurt him, and then they were family friends and they came back, he took him in, and it was, you know, and then it leaked over. And once that was done, it was done to me. And maybe a little Shinsuke and Sammy.
One of the best matches that year.
That's what, yeah. So like maybe a little very similar styles. You know, it's fun to watch. Both guys are entertaining. They're very, you know.
Actually, what's crazy is that year, Sammy had his leaving match at NXT against Shinsuke, which was one of the best matches of the year. And then the same week, his debut match against John Cena, which was one of the best matches of John Cena's career.
Yeah, I mean, every match is a 5-star match for John Cena. But
no, John Cena's even said it, like, that the match with Sammy was one that was, like, stands out to him.
Yeah. You know? Sammy, he did, you know, he does great work, but I don't know what it is about him now, but this storyline, the bloodline, it's just enabled him to hone in on like perfecting his craft. He doesn't have to be on the mic the whole time when he's in like a one-on-one feud, right? He now has spots where when he comes in, he's like trying to break character, right? He's trying to get them all to get fucked up. And he's got these just, his job is to make a moment special. Make a moment, right? It's never, bro, you have to carry this conversation. Doesn't have to do that. And he's not the guy that has to carry the match either. You have other people in the ring. The Usos are one of the greatest, they're one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Period. Their in-ring capability is unbelievable. On the mic, you know, before the whole day one-ish, before all this, bro, they're so good on the mic, man. And their feuds just on the mic between the New Day and them are legendary. And Sammy just came in and it was like, how could we fit this odd motherfucker in the middle of a Samoan family and make it legendary? And Sammy's like, hold my beer. Like, that's what it felt like. He just said,
well, I feel like he injected life back into the bloodline because the whole shtick was starting to waver a little bit because they were running out of opponents. They're running out of things to do. Like you said before, like, where do they go from here? Roman's facing fucking Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Like, where do they go? You know, I think Sammy injected energy into this storyline now and somewhere for it to go now.
I think both needed each other.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Yeah, they both needed each other.
Yeah. His entrance was great.
His entrance was fantastic. Like, he played it right. You know, waited for Jay to get back up, then sees the opportunity. Then they're jumping all over Rich Holland. Butch is still in the corner with his arm all broken up and everything like that. Smart. Like, he was playing that ring tactician, Sami Zayn type of mentality. And then you got Drew coming in. Like, I love Drew McIntyre. I think he's a top guy in the business when they push him to be the top guy in the business. But in this match, like, I don't feel like he was there for anything. You didn't see any spots with Drew. No claymores, no, you know, him jumping off the top rope, nothing like that. Like, you know, because he does those high flying things. He does that suicide dive over the top rope, you know?
Yeah.
Nothing for in this match.
McIntyre didn't wow me. McIntyre's never wowed me though. And I think I'm very hard pressed. People can say whatever they want to say about what I'm about to say, and I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care to see anybody with some sort of an accent being a heavyweight champion. Sorry, don't give a fuck about it. McIntyre, I don't.
Absurd comment.
Sorry, well, McIntyre with the accent, Sheamus with the accent. These guys, like, there's no mic work to me. I don't, you know, bro. What the fuck does that mean, bro? Like, you lost me at hello. You fucking lost me at meat and potatoes, bro. Like, I need a guy I can understand.
I apologize to all our Irish listeners out there.
I don't get. You know what? You're great fucking people. Not on the mic. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck. I'm done with it. You can't push guys that nobody wants to see pushed. He's got the physique. He looks great. When he gets on the mic, is this Braveheart? Am I watching Mel Gibson? What am I watching right now? I don't know what's happening. England's invading Scotland. I don't know. I don't want it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it anymore. Get him the fuck out of the ring right now and get me Roman Reigns back on the mic. Thanks.
So you don't think Drew's a top guy?
Fuck him.
Like that's an absurd statement. It's an absurd statement.
Cool.
I don't.
I get to see one more sword. Ooh, okay, cool, bro. You're not doing anything with the sword. Stop bringing the sword on your dumb kilt.
I don't agree with it being because of his accent. I just fucking don't like the dude.
No, it's all
so
accent.
I agree but disagree.
It's all accent, bro.
I'll tell you though, when he had his push with Brock, it was a good push. Like he got over. Brock got him over.
Yeah, listen, you know why Brock got him over? Because there was all flat screen TVs during the pandemic, and no one could boo him and yell at him and say "shut the fuck up" on the mic. That's why he got over. Because his fucking TVs, bro. Because if there was real people like me in the stands, I would have been yelling, "What? What?" Because I couldn't understand a fucking word he says on the mic, bro. It's like listening to Shinsuke. How can Shinsuke Nakamura be a real champion, bro? I can't understand the guy.
I mean, listen, I'll agree with Shinsuke because he doesn't speak English like at all.
None of them do.
And like that's like the problem that goes back to Asuka. Like Asuka doesn't speak English, so having her on the mic is kind of like it's funny sometimes, but for the most part,
we're going off the rails here.
So now we got Jimmy enters the match. We get New Day Usos proper. They're in there he's in there with Jay and Sammy, and they just, I mean, again, it wasn't like a big entrance. Nothing really crazy happened.
They brought in some tables.
I mean, like, it is what it is. They brought in some tables. They brought in some weapons. They're good to go. That's where we went with Jimmy coming in. Then, and I was surprised by this because I thought KO was going to be batting cleanup here.
I figured he'd be last.
I thought he was going to be last also, but instead he comes in fourth. Great entrance from KO. He injects a bunch of energy into the match because at that point,
briefly
very briefly.
But you guys got through the other guy on the mic that speaks well, Sheamus?
No, we didn't get the Sheamus guy.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah. We're talking about Jimmy Uso coming in and basically just bringing tables into the ring, then nothing happened.
Excellent.
Drew came in,
Kevin Owens coming in, giving Jimmy a little bit of hype, falling off.
Yeah. Yeah, well, KO came in and really injected some energy into the match. Like, he came in, does what KO does best. Me and John go back and forth on the KO thing a lot because I feel that he's a top guy in the company. I feel that he's a guy that.
I'll agree with that. I will agree with him being a top guy.
John hates him because he looks like somebody's dad.
Yeah,
because he doesn't have abs.
That's the thing.
Because not only is John racist, but he's also a sizist.
Okay, first of all, hold on a second here, dude. I say very.
Wait a minute.
I say very. First of all, you cannot throw the word racist around in 2022. Okay? Because these woke pieces of shit will come after me any second now. They'll crawl out of the sewers. Okay, dude. So that's number one. I'm a Jew. I'm not racist. Okay,
I was saying, can you be Jewish and racist at the same time?
No, it's impossible. Ask Kyrie Irving. Number two. Okay. Number two, KO gives guys like me hope because he's a fat guy that is agile. So I like watching him. It's just awkward because when I watch him and he comes in the ring, any moment now, I'm like, wow, dude, like, he should be at a Nathan's hot dog eating contest, but he's agile. Like, he's jumping off the top ropes. He's all over. But I'm like, this fat fuck is a champion. How is he a champion? It throws me off. I can't, bro. It was like Yokozuna.
If you watch that first War Games that fucking Carmine had me see, that motherfucker's agile, and he is bigger than Kevin Owens.
I said that. He jumps off the top ropes. He's a swanton.
No. We're not talking about KO. We're talking about now he's called Ivar from the Viking Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
He's a big son of a bitch.
You have no idea. I'm telling you right now. You watch this match. I think we should do a reaction with John watching this match too.
Listen, KO's one of the. He's a goat on the mic. A goat.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you this, that he's amazing at his craft because Stone Cold came out of retirement to have a match with him. And he wouldn't do it with anybody that he didn't trust, with his legacy, with his body, right? Because Stone Cold one wrong move away from never walking again. And somebody who's witty enough to keep up with him verbally. So KO is great. I love KO. He's awkward to watch, dude. That's all I'm saying.
Two things about him. I think his stunner is a little, the execution of it's weird.
It's weird.
I do like how he steals the suck it before shit.
Yeah.
And does that.
Bro, listen, I'd say it about Tom Brady. Tom Brady gives old generic white guys a reason to think like they can do anything and everything, because look at Tom Brady, all he does is eat avocado, and somehow he's great at football. Okay. And he's just, the guy doesn't work out. He's not like, there's not an ounce of muscle on the guy, right? You're like, this guy's just so ordinary. I look at KO and I'm like, that's me in a few years. My belly's gonna get rounder, and I'm gonna wear boots with knee pads. I'm gonna wear jorts and the t-shirt, and call me Kevin Owens. I mean, this is what it is. I can't see a belt on him. Like, this guy can't dominate the industry.
I can see a belt on him, bro. I can definitely see. I can see him taking it off Roman.
Bro, you're Kevin Owens. Zuplex, you are Kevin Owens. If Kevin Owens has a belt, you are fucking Kevin Owens. If Kevin Owens has a belt, you should have a fucking belt. You're a lot worse. Your mic game is weak. It's a little weak. Well, you are Kevin Owens. You're Kevin Owens, dude. You should have the title. If he gets the title, I'm protesting. Zuplex should have the title. That's it. That's how I feel. That's it.
So after KO, we get the injection of Solo Sequoia. And if there's anybody that got over better than Sami Zayn in this match, it's Solo. Because he came in looking like Umaga 2.0.
Oh, yeah.
And just destroying everybody. Absolute game changer. They made him look like a monster. Solo is gonna be the future of a lot of storylines going forward, I think.
Well said, dude. He came in, all his screams, he was dominating, he was beating everybody up. He looks like a badass. He acted like a badass. They didn't make him look like a bitch. He's got cool tattoos. He's a big Samoan. He's great. He's great. I wish he was a little taller. I don't know what it is about it, but I wish he had even more like dominating physique, because his attitude is really dope. So you look at him, you're like, this is definitely
this all out, bro. Like, you're Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Man,
I am. But that's what makes me legendary. I am Vince McMahon. I am. Without all the rape allegations, I'm Vince McMahon.
Without all the rape allegations, you're Vince McMahon.
I think we've hit every trigger word possible in the last 10 minutes. All I'm saying is you can't tell me, like, he's awesome, but like if he was like Drew McIntyre's stature, he would just be so. You look at him and be like, holy shit, dude. It's Roman Reigns.
And that was no, that's The Rock. The Rock is. I
mean, I don't know if he's that good on the mic to be The Rock.
No, but I'm saying you would look at him, when you look at The Rock, when he he came back to face Cena, and he was just
still smaller than Cena.
but I know. But here's the thing, though. Like, The Rock now looks very different from The Rock before, because The Rock's definitely on that Bruno.
Love that. I'm a big
one our podcast is going to call that from now on is the Bruno.
First of all, you got. Have I ever told you my take on the Bruno?
I'm all for the Bruno.
No. It should be mandatory. I think that if you're a professional athlete, I don't care if you're in badminton, you must be on the Bruno. I want to see larger than life animals doing animalistic things because I'm paying so much money. If you're not on the Bruno, I'm out on you. I don't care. Baseball, everyone on the Bruno, I'm in. Baseball now, drug tested, I'm out. I want Bruno. I want them to be sponsored by the Bruno. Actually, matter of fact, that's how I feel about it. So let's get more of that involved in everything that we watch. Thank you very much, WWE. Lifetime.
The MVP brought to you by Windstrom.
Moving on.
Brought to you by D-Ball.
Brought to you by D-Ball.
Yeah.
Now we go on. Sheamus enters. Nothing happens.
Cool.
Sheamus does a bunch of like, I'm the Irish guy. Sheamus, blah 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 blah.
The only thing I can say with his is when he was breaking out, like when he was on somebody's shoulders and delivering those elbows, dude, he was fucking hitting them with those.
Yeah,
those
solo. He was on
those
solo,
were legit fucking rocks.
Yeah.
How about his
Sheamus worked stiff.
Beats? How about his 48 beats of the Bowery?
Oh, I was getting to that because we got to get Roman's entrance in first.
Okay.
Then Roman comes in, completely changes the landscape. Now you got both full teams in. The War Games match officially starts. Right? And it's all out war. And I think this is where this match really shines when all 10 guys are in the ring. You're starting to see something happen. You know, I feel like it was big spots in the beginning, lull in the middle. Owens and Solo kind of like injected energy for a short period of time. Then we get to all 10 of them in the match, and now we have a match going, and you got guys going through tables. You got like John just brought up the 50 beats of the Bowery that they did, which I thought was a good spot. Like it was an entertaining spot to have them all do, hook their arms and just dude, the crowd's going nuts.
Yeah, but aside from that, it kind of went down to just like focusing on one or two or three people. Everybody else was just fucking laying on the mat.
Well, there was little subtle. I thought that one of the coolest moments was.
Did somebody just fart?
No, my dog is choking on the bed over here. It's dying.
I thought Carmine was just ripping it over there, just nonchalant.
Nah, she's just choking. Don't mind me, Peter. Don't come after me. She's old. But it's literally, I thought that one of the dopest parts was, how the bloodline was outnumbered until obviously Roman Reigns came in the whole match, right? Because they had the favorable matchups. I thought the coolest part was in the end, Roman Reigns comes in the ring and everyone sort of like the bloodline rolls next to him and they're just all picking each other up, and Roman Reigns is the only one with energy. And the brutes are on the other side. And the bloodline's on the other side, and they have like that stare off, and it's one big faction against the other, and one is clearly like decimated, but you can tell because Roman Reigns is in the middle. He's like, it's all Roman Reigns. Like Zuplex and I said he was gonna come in and fuck shit up, and you just felt it. And then like they, KO and all those guys walk into their side, and chaos, ensues after that, but. That I thought that was a cool part, like the overhead view of both factions staring at each other. It was cool to me.
I'll tell you right now, KO sells probably better than anybody in the business right now. Yeah. Roman hit him with that uppercut, and he fell like straight forward into Roman's chest, just like Shawn Michaels style. Just
yeah. And I like how Roman just like slapped him the fuck off of him.
Yeah. That was low-key great.
It's those little things that I see in these matches that I think really drive stuff home for me, is like the way KO sells, the way Sammy sells, getting to the end of the match here.
Mm-hmm.
We have I'll be honest, like we were predicting it midway through and we were wrong. Like there was no turn from Sammy. Me and John were talking back and forth, being like, it's gonna happen. Sammy's gonna screw him over, especially like midway through the match when you saw the stuff between him and Jay, like Jay slapping him,
the super kick on him.
The super kick on him, yeah, absolutely. And then he pulled Jay out of the way anyway, and he was there. And then KO hits the stunner on Roman. Goes for the pin. Sammy breaks up the count and proceeds to beat the ever-living hell out of KO and hits him with one of the best haluva kicks I think I've ever seen from Sami Zayn. KO looked like he took that right in the mouth.
Yeah.
He ate that motherfucker.
Oh,
He ate that one.
I said at the end, I said that is not what I expected. I mean, bro, if they could put this mole any further in the bloodline, I mean, this mole is so, bro, he's so far in, he may believe at this point he's fucking Samoan. He's so far in at the end, the greatest, bro. It ended phenomenal, first of all. And
I loved it.
It ended the only way, actually, it probably could have ended. Even with everything you and I went through, is probably the only way it could have ended. And and bro, that last scene after the match, dude, said it all.
Sammy is 100% over.
I felt it. Sammy does it, and the crowd is cheering. The crowd is cheering. Sammy Uso louder. Jesus Christ can hear this, and they're going nuts. The bloodline wins, and at the end when he looks at Jay, I'm like, bro, like, what's gonna happen here? And Jay Uso like grabbed him, bro. I said that embrace, it just, bro, made me feel so warm and cozy. It was the greatest embrace in all of wrestling. Jay hugs him, bear hug, he's picking him up. He's like, I'm like, oh man. I said, he's gonna fuck the bloodline over so good, dude. This is great.
I love it because it was definitely something I think everybody was so all over the place with theories about what was going to happen that they just played it straight, and they were just like, listen, we're just going to have Sammy just be the bloodline now. Like, that's it. And we were just like, wow, like this, they really just went for it. You know, I thought it was a great way to end it. What do you think, Steve?
Oh, I enjoyed it. I loved the shit out of it. I thought the ending was phenomenal, but I do stand by KO is going to take the title from Roman, and it's going to be because of Sammy.
I agree with you. I think it's not going to happen for a while, but I think that is what ends up happening.
Nah.
You don't think so? You just don't want to see KO as champion. You don't want to see him beat your
No. I don't see it. I just, by the way, I could watch Roman Reigns be the champion the next 10 years. I'll be fine. But you don't understand. You guys just don't. You don't get it. You really don't get it. Zoop and I are the same age, okay? And you can comprehend what I'm going to say here. I grew up watching the Mega Powers. I grew up watching the same wrestling matches, the same feud, every single week for years. I watched Hogan and Macho fight over Queen Elizabeth for 2 straight years. I watched the same things. I'm used to seeing the same feud, and I think the only way to legitimize a title run and a champion is by keeping them as champion for as long as possible. And it doesn't matter what your thoughts and feelings on it. When the title changes, it makes the last person look like, you know, their title run. Okay, this is a title run. When people lose a title relatively quick, it's not a run. It's just a title change. Roman Reigns has cemented a title run of epic proportions. When people say the name Bruno Sammartino, you're like, wow. Bob Backlund, wow. Bro, these are fucking names cemented in the legacy of what is wrestling. And bro, to me, Roman Reigns is fucking legendary right now. And his title run, the fact that he goes in and we're waiting here at the edge of our seat, you know he's gonna lose. You get it. You have to, right? So you're waiting, and you're waiting, and you show up every fucking pay-per-view, man. You show up and you're like, here it is, and you'll wait, and you're like, holy shit, dude, we're at 800 days, 900 days. You're like, bro, this has gotta go soon, right? And that's why this is so amazing. And it doesn't matter. Oh my God, Christian Watson, thank you, fantasy points. But but it just, to me, it's so. This is the last run we're gonna see like this, boys, because I don't see another guy that the company is gonna push like this. And I believe this should have been Bray Wyatt, but it's not. So it's Roman Reigns, because I think
I see Bray Wyatt as being a guy that they could do for a long run.
No, when they were screwing him around with the title, when they finally gave it to him, that was it, bro. Because that
was under Vince, though. We got Hunter in charge now. It's different.
No, you're right. But does Hunter have another run like this under him? How many does he have? I don't know.
It's been for a long time, bro. Like,
I know. I don't know. This is so, bro. The magnitude is we're approaching. We're gonna approach 3.
Well, it's not KO, then who right now?
It's I
think
said it last night. It's go ahead, Steve. You tell me.
I think that's why he's at such a long title run right now, is because there's not that many people that you can actually pick from. It's not the Attitude Era where you had like Stone Cold, The Rock, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. You had all these massive names. Who's really competing with him right now?
Who do you think's the most over superstar right now in the WWE? Steve?
Rollins.
I don't know. It's between Rollins and Roman.
Okay, so Rollins is the guy that I think will end up taking the title, but I think that they bring it back to that feud. I think that it ends up being that Rollins is larger than life, and he ends up taking it. And I think it's another. I know we want to see, The Rock take it off Roman, but I think it's another WrestleMania upset.
I don't think that ever happens.
No, I think that Rollins.
If they fight at WrestleMania, I think Roman wins that. Because then you cement him as the head of the table then.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. My munchkin is up. What happened? Oh my God.
I think
real quick.
I think Rollins does it.
Real quick. This is side but not side. If you could have a team versus team for War Games, who would your matchup be?
Team for team, War Games.
No, all time. Dream team, dream matchup.
Dude, first of all, you already know DX, no doubt. Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and
talking about the entirety of DX.
The X-Pac, X-Pac, and the New Age Outlaws. Bro. First of all, that would be insanity. And then,
who are they facing?
At the height of its powers, because this is the truest rivalry without ever being a rivalry, the NWO. I think when Triple H stormed the gates and DX stormed the gates, looking for the WCW and NWO was there to, that was it, bro. That's mine. All time. I'd have loved to have seen Triple H with Hollywood Hogan in front of him.
So you got 3 members of the NWO, though. Who's the 2 you're adding in there?
I mean, any of them after. Any of them.
Sting?
Okay, so see, I think this would be a good match for like the Hardys with the Dudleys versus like Edge, Christian, and some of those. I think War Games was made for that type of rivalry.
And I agree with you.
And it would be so fucking entertaining with them.
I would put the Hardys on one side. I would put the Dudleys on the other. I'd split Edge and Christian and put one on each side, right? Because they came on and they had really great singles careers against each other. So you put that rivalry in there, right? So you have Edge with, actually we put Edge with the Dudleys, and then put Christian with Matt and Jeff, right?
Okay.
And then you add in 2 others.
Who are you adding? I'd throw RVD in there.
I was getting there. I'm going to put RVD on one side. I'm going to put Taz, Prime Taz, on the other side. And then I'm splitting up Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. And I'm putting them on either side also.
You think them over some of the old school talent?
Oh, hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. You haven't watched enough Gargano and Ciampa to know. I promise you. That is a banger match. 100%.
Yeah. My final 2, and this is it's going to be weird as fuck. Raven and Al Snow.
Hold on a second.
All right. I mean, I would have went Raven and Tommy Dreamer, but hey.
Hold on.
Or if we're going that, then we're going Tommy Dreamer and Hardcore Holly.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Can anyone tell me what their dream matchups were?
Well, we pretty much agree, so I'll let Zoop there tell you.
Yeah. Mine is, for 6 guys in this match, me and Steve agree. I say you put the Hardys on one side, you put the Dudleys on the other, split up Edge and Christian, put them on either side. Okay? I'm adding in Prime RVD and Prime Taz. And then just pull from the newer age stuff. I'm adding in Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano.
Listen, super impressive lineup and a lot of carnage. No,
yeah,
a lot of carnage.
Which is what I think that's made for. I want that.
Listen, but you have to, guys. I see
your storyline works, but you know, as a match that's a dud match.
Yeah, but I don't even care. I'll watch them just stare at each other the whole time. I don't even care, dude. I just nostalgia. Just for me, the nostalgic feel and looking at them and looking like
I'm not watching your match for one reason. Hulk Hogan's in it.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but Hulk
I fucking hate him.
Yeah, and Hogan doesn't care if you hate him. He's a fucking legend. So you know,
fuck him. Fuck him.
Hogan hates you. He just texted me.
Good. I'm glad.
But I can tell you this.
I'm gonna pull this thing back onto the rails for a bit here. We are that's the end of War Games. That was the recap, ladies and gentlemen. Before we have an absolute war of who loves Hulk Hogan and who doesn't, because John dreams about him in his sleep every night.
That's not true.
He wishes he was Hulk Hogan.
No, I wish I was Ultimate Warrior.
So thank you guys out and then Gen Nation for sticking with us for this recap. Check us out. We got more coming from you from the Oversell podcast. We got the Theater Room podcast going up. Reactions from everybody on everything at this point. We have the trivia game that my man here, John is the captain, has been hosting as the Quizzard of Oz.
Thank you very much.
It's been going great. Check out the trivia game. Check out everything on GGEN's YouTube. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts on War Games were. Make sure you're following us on all social media platforms. We're everywhere. So become a part of Gen Nation. That's what we're asking you to do.
Yes.
All right.
We are everywhere.
For me, the Captain in One Shot, we are out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, good night. Stay safe. Love you all.
Later.